Most guys think no contact is simple. Just ignore her and she'll come back. But what happens when she doesn't? What happens when she also goes silent? Now it becomes a battle of patience, a battle of ego, a battle of control. And today, I'll show you exactly what to do so you don't lose your power. Before we begin, I am currently working on the Stoic Relationship Blueprint for Men course that's coming very soon. This is a complete transformation system that rebuilds your mindset, your discipline, and your relationships from the ground up, so you stop chasing and start leading. It breaks down everything step by step in simple, practical ways, so you can understand it deeply and apply it permanently in your life without confusion, without guesswork, and without going back to old patterns. If you're ready to take control and become untouchable, comment the blueprint right now so you don't miss it when it drops. Number 1, stop waiting for her. This is the first mistake, and it is the one that quietly destroys your position without you even realizing it, because on the surface it looks like discipline, it looks like strength, it looks like control, but underneath it is the same old pattern dressed in silence, because instead of texting her, you are now just staring at your phone in a different way. Instead of chasing her with messages, you are chasing her in your mind, replaying conversations, imagining scenarios, checking if she viewed your story, wondering if she is thinking about you. And that is not no contact. That is emotional dependence without action, and she can sense it even without speaking to you, because your energy has not changed. Your mindset has not changed. Your life has not changed. Only your behavior has paused. And a paused man is still a controlled man, because everything he does is still centered around her existence, whether she responds or not, whether she comes back or not. And that is exactly why nothing shifts in your favor, because you are still reacting internally even if you are silent externally. And here is the uncomfortable truth that most avoid. She is not sitting there frozen, thinking about you the way you are thinking about her. She is living, she is moving, she is engaging with attention, she is enjoying the fact that she can step back and you will remain in place. And that reality hits hard because it exposes something deeper. It shows that the attachment was never equal. It shows that you placed her in a position where her presence defines your emotional state. And as long as that remains true, you will always be at a disadvantage, because the one who needs less always controls more. And right now, you need her response, her attention, her validation, even if you pretend you do not. And that is why the first step is not silence. The first step is detachment in action, meaning you are no longer waiting, not even a little, not even secretly, not even just in case, because waiting keeps you tied. Waiting keeps you predictable. Waiting keeps you weak in ways that are not visible but are deeply felt in your decisions, in your habits, in how you show up every single day. And what replaces waiting is movement, real movement, not distractions, not pretending to be busy, but actual forward progress in your life that has nothing to do with her. Because a man who is building does not have time to sit in emotional limbo. He has direction, he has structure, he has standards, and when those are in place, something shifts inside you, because now your focus is no longer, will she come back? It becomes, am I becoming someone who even cares if she does? And that question changes everything, because it forces you to look at your life honestly. It forces you to confront the areas you have been neglecting, the discipline you have been avoiding, the purpose you have been delaying. And instead of using her absence as pain, you start using it as fuel, not in an emotional way, but in a controlled, steady, focused way, where every day you invest in yourself without expecting immediate results, without needing recognition, without needing her to see it. Because the real shift happens when you are no longer performing for her return. You are building for your own standard. And that is where power starts to grow, quietly, consistently, without noise, without announcements, without validation. Because true control is internal. It is how you handle uncertainty. It is how you act when there is no response. It is how you move when no one is watching. And right now the situation is simple. She stepped back. She is silent. And instead of asking why, instead of trying to decode her behavior, you accept what is in front of you. You do not chase clarity from someone who chose distance. You do not seek answers from someone who created confusion. You respect the situation for what it is, and you adjust accordingly, not emotionally, but strategically, because life rewards those who adapt without losing themselves. And this is where Stoic thinking becomes practical. You focus only on what is within your control, your actions, your discipline, your direction, and you completely release what is not. Her thoughts, her decisions, her timing, her intentions, because trying to control those is what created the frustration in the first place. And once you let that go, you create space. Space to think clearly, space to act with intention, space to rebuild your foundation in a way that is not dependent on anyone else. And this is where the transformation begins. Not loud, not dramatic, but real. Because every day you are no longer waiting, you are progressing, and the longer this continues, the more you detach naturally, not forcefully, not artificially, but genuinely, because your life is expanding beyond her. And when that happens, two outcomes become possible. She comes back and realizes she no longer has the same version of you, or she stays gone and you realize you no longer need her, and both outcomes serve you. Because in both scenarios, you win, not because you got her back, but because you got yourself back, your focus, your clarity, your control, and that is the real objective, not her return, but your evolution. Because the moment you stop waiting is the moment you start living, and that is where everything changes in your favor. And that is where everything changes in your favor. Because now you can take that momentum even further with the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men, filled with timeless principles that rewire how you think, act, and move in every situation, giving you clarity, control, and direction from day one. It's now available in audiobook form, so instead of sitting in your thoughts, you can listen while walking, training, or moving through your day, turning idle time into real transformation without effort or confusion. This is not just something you read once and forget, it's yours permanently, a guide you can return to anytime you need strength, focus, or answers, and you'll find it linked in the comments, waiting for you to take that next step. Number 2, focus on your life. If she's also doing no contact, this is where everything either collapses or transforms completely, because most remain stuck in the illusion that time alone will fix their situation. That distance will somehow make her miss them. That silence by itself carries power, but silence without direction is empty. Silence without growth is wasted. And while you sit there thinking space will magically improve things, she is out there experiencing life, interacting, receiving attention, testing options, and adjusting her perception of you based on one simple fact. You are not present and you are not progressing, and that combination slowly erases your relevance in her mind. Not because she is evil, but because people value what evolves, not what stays frozen. And this is where the uncomfortable truth needs to be faced directly. She is not obligated to wait. She is not obligated to reflect deeply on what was lost. She is not sitting there analyzing your potential. She is responding to what is real in front of her. And if what is real is a man who disappeared without leveling up, without purpose, without direction, then there is nothing compelling her to return. And that is why focusing on your life is not advice. It is a requirement. It is the only move that shifts your position from passive to active, from dependent to self-sufficient, because the moment your focus returns to your own path, your own structure, your own development, something inside you starts to stabilize, because now your day is not dictated by her silence, your energy is not dictated by her absence, and your identity is no longer tied to whether she reaches out or not. And this is where real discipline comes in, not the kind that looks impressive for a few days, but the kind that is quiet, repetitive, consistent, where you wake up and execute regardless of how you feel, regardless of whether she crosses your mind, regardless of whether you get any external validation, because you are building something that stands on its own. And that starts with your physical state, because the body reflects the mind. And if your body is weak, undisciplined, neglected, it feeds directly into your lack of control. So you train, not for appearance, not for attention, but for structure, for order, for self-respect, because every session reinforces one simple truth. You are in control of your actions, even when everything else is uncertain. And from there, it expands into your work, your finances, your environment. Because a man without direction becomes easy to ignore, easy to replace, easy to forget. And that is exactly what you are preventing, not by chasing relevance, but by becoming someone who naturally stands out through consistency and focus. And this is where most get it wrong. They try to improve only to win her back. They turn their growth into a performance, something she is supposed to notice, something she is supposed to reward. And that mindset keeps them trapped, because it still centers her as the outcome. It still makes her the judge of their progress. And that is not freedom, that is disguised dependence. So the shift must be deeper. It must be internal, where the reason you improve has nothing to do with her return. It is rooted in your own standards, your own expectations, your own refusal to remain in the same state that led to this situation in the first place. Because if you are honest, this did not start with her silence. It started long before, in the small compromises, in the lack of boundaries, in the moments where you placed her above your own priorities, where you adjusted your life around her instead of inviting her into a life that was already structured. And now you correct that, not by blaming her, not by analyzing her every move, but by tightening your own system, your habits, your discipline, your focus, because that is where your control exists. And as you do this, something interesting happens. Your perception changes. You start seeing her behavior for what it is, not mysterious, not confusing, just predictable patterns that occur when someone is unsure, when someone is testing, when someone is exploring options. And instead of reacting emotionally, you observe it with clarity, you accept it without attachment, and you continue moving forward, because your life no longer revolves around trying to secure her interest. It revolves around building a position where interest is a byproduct, not a goal. And this is where Stoic thinking becomes practical again. You detach from outcomes, you commit to actions, you accept uncertainty without resistance, and you remove the need for immediate answers, because life does not operate on your timeline, and chasing answers from someone who chose silence only weakens your position further. So you stop asking, you stop seeking, you stop waiting, and you start executing daily, consistently, without interruption. And over time, this compounds. Your confidence becomes grounded, not based on attention, but on proof of your own discipline. Your presence becomes stronger, not because you demand it, but because you embody it. And whether she notices or not becomes irrelevant, because your life is no longer built to attract her, it is built to fulfill you. And that is the point most miss. Attraction is a side effect of alignment, not the result of chasing. And when you align your actions with your standards, your habits with your goals, your mindset with reality, everything else adjusts accordingly, including how others perceive you, including how she perceives you. But by the time that shift happens, your mindset has already changed, because now you are not looking back, hoping she returns. You are looking forward, knowing you are advancing, and that is where the real transformation takes place. Because you are no longer the man who was left wondering. You are the man who used that moment as a turning point, as a catalyst, as a reason to rebuild stronger, sharper, more focused. And from that position, you do not chase outcomes. You create them, not through force, but through consistency, clarity, and control. And that is what focusing on your life truly means. Not distraction, not avoidance, but deliberate, disciplined progress that removes her from the center of your world and places you back where you belong, in control of your direction, your time, your energy, and your future. Number 3, do not break silence. You will feel it, and it will hit at the most inconvenient moments, late at night when everything is quiet, early in the morning when your mind is not yet guarded, in between tasks when your focus drops for just a second, that sudden urge to reach out, to type something simple, to break the silence, just to relieve the tension that has been building inside. And this is where most lose everything they have been trying to build, not because they are weak in general, but because they are unprepared for this exact moment. Because nobody told them that silence is not just external, it is internal discipline. It is the ability to sit with discomfort without acting on it. And right now the situation is clear. She is silent. She is distant. She is not choosing to reach out, and instead of accepting that reality, the mind starts negotiating. It starts creating excuses. Maybe she's waiting for me. Maybe she's testing me. Maybe I should just send one message. And that is how it begins, not with a big emotional mistake, but with a small, seemingly harmless action that opens the door again. And the moment that message is sent, everything shifts back to where it was. Because now she knows one thing with absolute certainty. You are still available, still reactive, still within reach. And once that is confirmed, her behavior does not improve. It does not suddenly become consistent. It does not become respectful because there is no reason for it to change. You have already shown that silence does not hold you, that patience is not your strength, that your actions are still driven by her absence. And that is why breaking silence is not just about sending a message. It is about breaking your own frame. It is about showing that your discipline collapses under pressure, and once that happens, rebuilding becomes even harder. Because now you are not starting from a position of strength, you are starting from a position of proven inconsistency, and this is why control becomes the central focus. Not control over her, but control over yourself. Because that is the only thing you truly have. Your thoughts, your actions, your responses. And when the urge hits, instead of reacting, you observe it. You acknowledge it without obeying it. You let it pass without turning it into action. Because every urge is temporary, but every action has consequences. And the more you practice this, the stronger that control becomes. Not in an emotional way, but in a steady, grounded way, where your decisions are no longer dictated by impulses. And this is where Stoic application becomes real. You separate what is happening from how you respond to it. You do not try to suppress the thought. You do not pretend it is not there. You simply refuse to act on it. And that alone builds a level of discipline that most never reach. Because most give in, most look for relief, most choose short-term comfort over long-term strength. And that is exactly why they remain in the same cycles, repeating the same patterns, dealing with the same outcomes. And this is where you break that cycle, not by doing something dramatic, but by doing nothing when it matters most, by holding your position when everything inside you is pushing you to move. Because that restraint is what creates power, not loud actions, not emotional reactions, but controlled stillness. And as time passes, something shifts internally. The urgency fades, the attachment weakens, the need to reach out loses its grip, and you start to see the situation with clarity. Because distance creates perspective, and perspective removes illusion. You begin to understand that if she wanted to reach out, she would. If she valued your presence, she would show it. If she respected you, her actions would reflect it. And instead of questioning her silence, you start respecting it, not in a way that praises it, but in a way that accepts it as information, because silence communicates just as clearly as words. And once you accept that, you stop trying to force a different outcome. You stop trying to change her behavior. You stop trying to insert yourself back into a space she chose to step away from. And that acceptance is what strengthens your position, because now your actions are aligned with reality, not with hope, not with assumptions, not with imagined scenarios, but with what is actually happening. And that alignment removes confusion. It removes overthinking. It removes the constant internal conflict that drains your energy, and replaces it with clarity, with direction, with control. And this is where your growth accelerates, because your energy is no longer wasted on trying to fix something outside of your control. It is invested into yourself, into your structure, into your discipline, and the longer you maintain this, the more unshakable you become, because you have proven to yourself that you can handle pressure without collapsing, that you can experience discomfort without escaping it, that you can maintain your position without seeking validation. And that is what sets you apart, not the fact that you are silent, but the fact that your silence is intentional, controlled, and consistent. And from that position, everything changes. Because now if she reaches out, you are not reacting from need, you are responding from choice. And if she does not, you are not waiting. You are moving forward without hesitation, because your life is no longer dependent on her decisions. And that is the real objective. Not to win her back, not to prove anything to her, but to build a level of control within yourself that cannot be shaken by someone else's absence. And once that is established, you are no longer in a position where breaking silence even feels necessary. Because silence is no longer a strategy. It becomes your natural state when something no longer aligns with your standards. And that is where real power exists, in the ability to walk away, to stay away, and to remain unaffected by the very things that once controlled you. Number 4. Watch her actions. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening, and this is exactly where clarity separates control from confusion, because while there are no words being exchanged, there is still behavior, still patterns, still signals that reveal far more than any message ever could. And the problem is, most interpret these signals emotionally instead of objectively. They assign meaning based on hope instead of reality. They see a story view and think it means interest. They see a like and think it means regret. They see increased activity and think it means she is trying to get their attention. And that is how they get pulled back into the same cycle without even realizing it. Because instead of staying grounded, they start reacting internally again, analyzing every small action as if it carries deep intention, when in reality it often carries none. And this is where discipline in perception becomes critical, because not everything she does is about you. Not everything she posts is directed at you, and assuming that it is only keeps you mentally attached to someone who has already chosen distance, and that attachment clouds your judgment. It makes you interpret breadcrumbs as effort, curiosity as commitment, and visibility as value. And once that happens, you are no longer observing, you are participating again, even without direct communication. And that is how control slips away quietly, because you are engaging in her presence without her needing to engage with you. And that imbalance is what keeps you stuck, so the approach shifts completely. Instead of reacting to what she does, you observe it as information, nothing more, nothing less, because actions reveal priorities, consistency reveals intention, and absence reveals disinterest. And when you look at it from that lens, things become very simple. If she is truly interested, she will not rely on indirect signals, she will not hide behind vague actions, she will not expect you to decode her behavior. She will communicate clearly, directly, and consistently. And anything less than that is not worth your attention, because a woman who values you does not operate in ambiguity. She does not create confusion. She does not send mixed signals hoping you will figure it out. She makes it obvious because clarity benefits her as much as it benefits you. And when that clarity is not present, it is not your job to create it. It is your job to recognize it and adjust accordingly. And this is where most fail. They try to interpret instead of accepting. They try to find hidden meaning instead of facing what is in front of them, and that keeps them emotionally invested in a situation that is not progressing. So the discipline becomes this: observe without attachment, see without reacting, understand without engaging, because the moment you attach meaning to her actions, you give them power, and the moment you give them power, you give her influence over your state again, and that is exactly what you are stepping away from. Not just her silence, but her ability to affect your focus, your energy, your direction. And as you maintain this position, something shifts. You start seeing patterns more clearly. You start recognizing that attention is not the same as intention, that visibility is not the same as value, that activity is not the same as effort. And this awareness protects you. It keeps you grounded. It prevents you from falling into the same traps, because now your standard is clear. Only real, direct, consistent effort matters. Anything else is ignored, not out of anger, not out of ego, but out of self-respect, because you are no longer entertaining half measures. You are no longer responding to uncertainty. You are no longer investing in someone who is not investing in you, and this is where Stoic application becomes sharp. You remove emotional interpretation. You rely on observable reality. You accept what is without trying to reshape it to fit your expectations. And that acceptance brings clarity, and clarity brings control, because now your decisions are based on facts, not assumptions, and that alone elevates your position, because you are no longer reacting to perceived signals. You are responding only to real actions, and in most cases, that means you continue moving forward without interruption, because what she is showing is not enough to justify your attention, and that is the standard that changes everything, because once you operate from that level, you are no longer easy to pull back in. You are no longer affected by small gestures. You are no longer influenced by indirect behavior, and that forces a shift on the other side, because now if she wants access to you, she cannot rely on the same patterns. She cannot rely on subtlety. She cannot rely on games. She has to step up with clarity and effort, and if she does not, she loses access completely. And that is how power is maintained, not through reaction, but through standards, not through analysis, but through observation. And once that becomes your default, you are no longer confused by her actions. You are informed by them, and that information guides your decisions without emotion, without hesitation, without compromise. And that is where your control becomes solid, because it is rooted in reality, not perception, and that is what keeps you moving forward without getting pulled back into the same cycle again. Number 5, be ready to move on. This is the hardest truth, and it is the one that most try to avoid for as long as possible, because it requires letting go not just of her, but of the idea of her, the version you built in your mind, the future you imagined, the potential you believed in. And that attachment runs deep. It is not just about losing a person. It is about losing what you thought that connection represented. And that is why many stay stuck, because they are not holding on to reality. They are holding on to possibility. And possibility keeps them waiting, keeps them hoping, keeps them investing emotionally in something that is not present anymore. And this is where the shift has to happen, not gradually, not partially, but completely. Because as long as there is a part of you that is waiting for her return, you are not fully moving forward. You are still divided, still tied to an outcome that is outside your control. And that division weakens your focus, your discipline, your progress, because your energy is split between building your life and anticipating her re-entry into it, and that anticipation keeps you from fully stepping into your own direction. So the decision becomes clear. You prepare to move on, not as a reaction, not as a way to get her attention, but as a commitment to yourself, to your growth, to your standards, because staying attached to someone who chose distance is a form of self-neglect. It is placing their indecision above your clarity, their absence above your progress. And that is not a position that leads anywhere productive, so you confront the situation directly. You accept that she may not come back. You accept that she may move on. You accept that her priorities may not include you anymore. And instead of resisting that, you use it as a foundation to rebuild your mindset, because acceptance removes illusion, and without illusion, you can act with precision, with clarity, with purpose. And this is where real strength is developed, not in holding on, but in letting go without bitterness, without resentment, without needing closure from someone who chose not to give it, because closure is not something she provides, it is something you create by deciding that her absence is enough information to move forward, and once that decision is made, your actions align with it. You stop checking, you stop wondering, you stop waiting, and you start living in a way that reflects independence, not just externally, but internally, where your state is no longer influenced by her presence or absence. And that is where transformation happens, because now your focus is entirely on what you can build, what you can control, what you can improve, and that momentum carries you forward in ways that are undeniable, because consistency compounds, discipline compounds, clarity compounds, and over time, the version of you that was attached to her becomes distant, not because you forced it, but because you outgrew it, and that is the real outcome. Not getting her back, but becoming someone who no longer operates from the same level of need, the same level of attachment, the same level of dependency. And from that position, everything changes, because now if she returns, you are not the same person she left. You are not waiting, you are not hoping, you are evaluating, deciding whether she even fits into the life you have built. And in many cases, the answer becomes clear, because growth changes standards, and standards change who you allow into your life. And if she does not return, nothing is lost, because you have already gained what matters: control, direction, self-respect, and a life that is not dependent on someone else's decisions. And that is the real victory, not in her coming back, but in you moving forward without needing her to, because that is where freedom exists, in the ability to walk away completely, to let go fully, and to continue building without looking back. And once that becomes your mindset, there is nothing left to chase, nothing left to prove, nothing left to wait for, because you are already where you need to be, focused, disciplined, and in complete control of your own path. Most stay stuck in the same cycle, chasing attention, losing themselves, and calling it love, while the truth sits right in front of them, and almost nobody has the discipline to take it. This is exactly why the Stoic Relationship Blueprint ebook for men exists, filled with timeless principles that rewire your mindset immediately and pull you out of patterns that have been quietly controlling your life for years. It's now available in audiobook form, so instead of sitting in your thoughts, you can absorb this knowledge while walking, training, or moving through your day, turning every moment into growth. Society benefits from confusion, from men staying distracted, weak, and dependent, which is exactly why this kind of clarity is rare and why you need to take it seriously right now. So if you're ready to break that cycle, comment, "I choose control," like the video, and subscribe so more men can find this before they waste years learning the hard way. The link is in the comments, and once you have it, it's yours for life. A permanent source of clarity, discipline, and direction whenever you need it most.